Hi everyone. If you're watching this means that you've completed 2 quizzes out of the 3 that are required for badge number 2 in our Excel badge series, okay? I'm writing this to you on July 8th of 2017. One of the last areas we'll get into as we conclude badge number 2 is formatting. Now here's a fast review of formatting, ladies and gentlemen. I've written my reference notes below some numbers that I threw up here for your reference. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about a review of formatting and then something called conditional formatting. And I've put some sample data out here. I just invented these numbers, given a bunch of states, and we are in the sales business, and we're more importantly in the profit business. So I've put down some past sales numbers and how much it cost us to buy the things that we are selling. And of course, the difference between sales and cost is what we get to keep as what the accountants call gross profit. I've put down a few other pieces of info like new sales leads that we'll pursue and the percent likelihood, not likelihood, I beg your pardon, the past success percent rate we've had on our leads. Okay, so friends, if you're not into accounting or financial analysis, don't worry, these are just numbers we're going to play with, okay? So anyway, let's go back over a review of basic formatting. We know that we can click on a cell, we can format a cell, we can format a column, we can format a row, or we can format what we call a block by selecting, in other words, left click and hold the mouse button down and drag down and to the right, and as soon as you release the button, that is a block that is highlighted, that's a group of cells, and we can format what is in those cells. So let's take numbers. Okay, I'm just going to say, well, we'll take numbers. I'm going to put some numbers here, let's say 80,000 and 107,000, and down here I'll just put a couple of lines of text, okay, my own name. So on line 21 we've got numbers, and down here we've got text. Okay, you'll notice that they automatically write justify if they are numbers. I can come up to my ribbon way up top here and I can force everything to be in the middle. Okay, I can put it back where it belongs. Okay, I can do the same thing with text. I can put it in the center. Okay, please remember, in the green bar at the very top, I can always click on that counterclockwise pointing arrow. That means undo, and I can click on it and that will undo everything I have just done. Okay? All right, very good. So now, given that information that's in those 4 cells, let's just stick with the numbers for now. Please remember, anywhere in that area I've highlighted, I just left click and hold and drag, and now I release the left mouse button when it's on the second cell, the 107,000. Okay, now I'm going to right click. Okay, now once again, these are all very useful and often used instructions that Excel is offering you, and I'm going to scroll down to where it says Format Cells. I'm going to left click on it. Okay, now this is a powerful little drop down that we have here. Because I'm dealing with numbers, I'm going to click on the very first of all of these little entries you see up here under Format Cells. I'm going to click on Number, and you have a whole bunch of choices. You can make your numbers look like currency. You can make them look in different situations like dates. Okay, I am going to stick with Number. Here, as you'll recall, we've discussed this before, I can increase the number of decimal places. Okay, I like dealing at this point with whole dollars, so I set it to 0. I can decide whether I want a comma after every 1,000th place. I like that, so I'm going to click that and make sure that's checked. And how do I want negatives? Do I want them showing as black with a minus sign, black with parens, red, or red with parens? That's up to you. I kind of favor red with parens. Make all your choices, friends, and then click OK. Okay, it's that easy. Okay, and I can also, I'm going to highlight all 4 of those cells. I'm going to right click, and I can also, I'm going to click Format Cells. I can do other fancy things like, I'm going to click on, how about alignment? Okay, I can notice this box to the upper right. I can change the angle of my text. I'm going to left click and drag just like it's going around a clock dial. I want to pick right about there. It looks like that's about, what would you call that? About 40 degrees elevation from flat horizontal. I'm going to, oh, there it is. It's right underneath, 30 degrees. I beg your pardon. Okay, I eyeballed it as 40. It's actually 30. Okay, I click on OK and watch what happens to my cell contents. Okay, so if you're ever trying to put something together and you want it to appear like that, for sake of saving space, you can certainly do it. Now, please remember, formatting doesn't have to do with your being effective in coming up with solutions for yourself. What it has more to do with, besides making things easier for you to read, is looking nicer, looking sweeter in a presentation to you, to your boss, to your colleagues, okay? I'm just going to reverse what I just did by clicking undo. All right, I'm going to right-click on that highlighted zone one more time. Format cells, I left click, and font, I can change my font. I kind of like what I've got right there now, Calibri, it's known as. But you can see that there are many different types of fonts here, and you can just aesthetically knock yourself out with these. I'm kind of partial to this one, Comic Sans, okay? And you can see what that will do to your appearance. I use that one quite often, okay? It's a little bit funkier than the Calibri that I've been using right up until now. All right, the last thing I'll show you before we get this again is review. Once again, I right-clicked. Now I'm going to left-click Format Cells. And now I just want to show you that you can put borders around things. Okay, so if you want a nice outline border, I click on that thick outline diagram you see in the upper right. Okay, and you click on OK, and you see how a border has been placed around my numbers. Okay, I undo that, and the final thing that I'll show you, Format Cells, has to do with fill. Okay, and if you would like to see a fancier pattern than the default settings that Excel provides give you initially, I can do like a fancy little cross-hatching. I'm going to select this one. It's the third row. It's the fourth one from the left. I click it. You'll notice that Excel is showing you a sample of what it's going to look like, and now I apply it by clicking OK. All right. You can go crazy with these things, friends, but I'm going to stop right there because I've got some more interesting things to get to. Again, this has just been a review of formatting that we have seen, that we have used, that we've discussed, okay? So let's get rid of that cross-hatching and get down to business. Okay, so this is going to be the start of conditional formatting. I'm not certain how many videos this will take, but again, my goal is to give you this final topic and get you well on your way to earning your second badge, your intermediate level Excel badge. Okay, conditional formatting. What we're going to do is this. We're going to look at all these numbers I gave you. I have not put these into a table or anything like that. But let's play with our sales, okay? These are past sales by state that our company has generated, okay? You can see that most of our business is in Mass, Connecticut, and Rhode Island in that order, the highest sales numbers. Okay, now, what conditional formatting means is depending on certain conditions, hence the name, that you give it, you can make the appearance give you a clue. Now, we're only dealing with 11 rows of numbers here. You could be dealing with 500 rows of numbers or more, okay? So a lot of times you can make Excel work for you to highlight certain things you're looking for just by its very appearance, okay? So we're going to do that now. Now, here's how it works. Look up at your ribbon and right in the middle, okay, where it says conditional formatting, that's the one we're going to work with here today. So I'm going to left click on that little icon that says conditional formatting. Remember, I've already highlighted by left click, hold, and drag. I've highlighted cells D8 through D18. Those are the ones that I'm going to work with, the ones that I'm going to make look different if certain conditions are met. So I'm going to click, left click that is, on conditional formatting. And this drop down, these are some of the rules and conditions you can give. So we're going to start with the top one, highlight cells. And you're going to set rules. You're going to say if these rules are met, do this. Otherwise, do something else. That's all it means. That's a condition. And formatting will be the result. So I'm going to come down here and hover my cursor over highlight cells. Okay, I want to say show me everything greater than 90,000. So I click greater than. Okay? Now you've got all kinds of power in here. So we're going to follow our usual mantra of experiment. Okay? Make sure that you experiment and explore, and don't be afraid to try new things, because again, there are so many powers available to you through Excel, and I'm just trying to brush on the most common and useful applications that I've found in my business experience. Okay, I want to leave style on classic. You'll see what that means in a moment. Okay, I can format based on certain conditions here, but I'm going to keep it very simple for the moment. Format only the cells that contain. Okay, now the formatting you see here, which is basically blue Calibri on white, that's what I set up as my default. Okay, what I want is I want to tell Excel that if anything is greater than $90,000, I'm just picking that number out of the air, then I want you to format it a little bit differently. So there are a couple of presets that Excel is offering. In this case, it says format with what? Do you want to use light red filling with a dark red text? You see it highlighted there, okay? I like that. Let's use it. I'm going to click on OK. Okay. And I forgot one thing. Greater than. Greater than what? I have to tell it. Come over here into this cell and put in the condition 90,000. Okay? Now I click on OK. Got to remember to do what Excel expects. Okay, now look what happened. It left everything the way it was, except if its value is greater than 90,000. Okay? And when it found something greater than 90,000, it changed the format to be dark red on a pinkish background. Okay? In general, that is how conditional formatting works. So come back up here and undo with that backwards rotating arrow, the counterclockwise arrow in the upper left of the green bar at the top. Okay, it'll be up there somewhere if you're using a slightly different version of Excel or if you're using a different operating system, but it will be up there somewhere. Okay? All right, very good. Let's try highlighting. We highlighted a value above. Let's try highlighting a value in between two other values. Okay, so once again, I'm going to highlight what it is I want to try to identify values within. In this case, it is D8 through D18. Okay? This time I'm going to say between. Okay? I'm going to have to give it two values. Between. Between what? How about between 87,000 and 121,000. Just making this up as I go. Okay, anything greater than 87,000 but less than 121,000, this time will highlight. Okay, everything else does not. Okay, now I click on conditional formatting again. Top and bottom rules, you can see that you can select the top 10 items, the top 10%, okay, the top 10, I'm sorry, the bottom 10, anything above average, anything below average. Let's try anything above the average. Okay? All right. It looks like if I were to take an average, it calculated the average of those cells for me, D8 through D18, and it highlighted the ones that are above that average. Now, you'll remember from all my other lectures that whenever Excel or basically any type of operation yields an answer for you, especially dealing with mathematics, you never just want to accept it, you want to prove it. Let's prove it, okay? Right now, we think we've highlighted everything above the average of all of those cells. Let's actually calculate it and see what happens. Okay, so I'm going to take this entire range, just like that. And that is how many items? I'm going to take the sum of all of those. In fact, I can't do it like that. Let's back up just 1 second. Okay, Yes, I made a mistake. Okay. I'm going to take the sum of all of those items. And how many of those items are there? 18 minus 8 is 10, plus 1 is 11. So I'm going to divide it by 11 items. All right. It appears that my average is 88,818. Okay, I added all the values in that range and divided by the number of values. That was 11. And my arithmetic average is 88,818. Okay, so therefore anything larger than that number should have highlighted. Did it? Yes, everything you see highlighted there is greater than 88,818. Anything that remained not highlighted is below that number. So there, ladies and gentlemen, is your proof. All right, let's undo that. And let's see what else we have. Okay, so I showed you the top bottom rules, I showed you the greater than less than rules, I showed you average, and I showed you proof. Now you can also use the same thing for text. Okay, so now we have 11 different states here, and I don't know, you might want to say, show me everything that starts with the word new. Okay, so highlight cells, I'm going to say text that contains, the fifth choice down, and I'm going to make it new, N-E-W. I hit return or click on OK, and of course it found New Hampshire, New York, and New Jersey. Okay, let's try one other little thing. Conditional formatting, I left click on once again. Let's give it highlight cell rules, text that contains, and this time I'm not going to type new, I'm just going to put N-E. All right, it gave me two other states beside New Hampshire, New York, and New Jersey. Why? Because the text alpha string NE is also included in Connecticut and in Maine. Okay? So once again, I deal more with numbers, but you might have need to do a sortation by texts, and now you know how to do that with text strings. Okay, so now data bars on sales and cost. All right, let's see how that works. I'm going to highlight sales by left-clicking and dragging. I've highlighted the whole thing. I'm going to left-click on conditional formatting. And now let's take a look at data bars. Okay? Let's drag over, don't drag, I'm sorry. Let's slide over here to the right on gradient fill. Now when you see the word gradient, that means don't just show a solid color, show that color going from a deep condensation of that color to a very thin color, okay? Gradient, gradual tapering off. I'm going to pick the second one, which is a green gradient, to show you how this works. Okay, there it is. Take a look at that, friends. Okay, the data bar started with a deep green at the far left, and then as it dragged over to the far right, it got less and less and less green. Depending on what? Depending on how big the number in that cell is. Look at the biggest one here, cell D10. That's the biggest one, $150,000. And you can see that that color bar goes almost all the way across the cell. Pick a really small one, like 65,000, and you can see that the data bar, comparatively, does not go quite as far. It only goes about 40% of the way. Okay? That would be, yeah, about 40%, I would say. Okay, so data bars are showing you comparatively how everything stacks against a cell that's all the way filled, like cell D10, and a cell that's partially filled. Okay? If you wanted to see a non-gradient color, I click on conditional formatting. Data bars, this time instead of gradient fill, I click on solid fill. Let's use light blue this time. They're giving you 6 different color choices. And you can see there's no color gradient at all. The condensation of color stays the same from left to right. Okay? That's totally up to you, by your taste, and by what looks pretty on a presentation you're doing for your company, for yourself, for your colleagues, for your boss, whomever. Okay? All right. And I think I'm going to stop right there for the moment, and so far we have covered part of the way through. We've covered down here. We've covered down to line 29. I will pick it up from here when I resume my video, hopefully tomorrow. I'm trying to get these done this weekend, okay? Thanks, hang in there. I'll be back to you soon. Bye-bye.